Hi guys, welcome to Stanley's Lighting channel. Thank you very much for your support over the last couple of months in all my videos of sharing about lighting technology, lighting products, and some of the projects and why certain things are like that and not, right? Okay, so for today, I'm going to share with everybody, well, how do I choose a good outdoor lighting product? I mean, probably a lot of people will be thinking like, just read the specs. Wikipedia tells you all. Well, yes, I do that many times, and I'm sure, eventually everybody does that as well. But right now, I'm in that category, or I probably transcend, fortunately, the category whereby, despite all your reading and understanding how to choose a good lighting product, you go to talk to so many vendors or suppliers, read up so many of their specification sheets or card sheets or whatever, eventually they still fail you. It's quite frustrating, right? Because eventually then you're going to get people down to change the lights. I mean, well, how many of us are really electricians that can change our own lights, right? And we might just not have the time to do it. So in my line of work, what I do is how do I actually evaluate a good lighting product? I actually ask outdoor lighting product, to be specific in today's topic, is I ask myself three very important questions. First of all, in terms of the gaps on the product, like what gaps, right? Well, you got to know that the lighting product, I'm sure everybody does as well, it's made up of a couple of pieces of metal put together. So you would definitely have gaps like this. You would have holes like these, okay? And of course, the other little drill holes, right? So, and of course, right, for all goodness sake, when you drive and you have a windscreen in front of a car, you don't see water coming through your windscreen during rain? Yeah, pretty much, like the gaps. That's what I'm talking about. So, all these gaps needs to be filled up or needs to be covered up. So, I always ask the manufacturers, right, do they know what they're using to seal up the gaps? And if so, please advise me. Now, I do my wiki research on the words that they sent to me or on the information that they pass to me in terms of what they use to encapsulate the product, because that actually determines whether your product is going to be waterproof after a specific period of time, unless the suppliers, well, they try to fail the product in 2 years so you can go back to them, right? I guess some consumers may have this kind of thinking. So yeah, but likewise sometimes for me. So anyway, I usually go and check up on them in terms of, or rather get them to update me in terms of what they use to encapsulate all this. So there are a couple of products like epoxy resin, silicone, PU, they call it polyurethane. Now in my opinion, honest opinion, PU, polyurethane, is one of the better grades of waterproofing silicone. It pretty much lasts quite well outdoors compared to the rest, where it actually cracks and hardens itself over a certain period of time due to rain and shine. The other one, well, it contracts itself, like shrinks itself, and over a period of time. That's silicone. For PU, apparently, well, the elasticity and the I guess it's the chemistry part, right? Like the molecules, the polymers, or whatever. Oh, they're pretty good. So after a couple of years, they're still springy, even though it's exposed outdoors. And I kind of like that kind of material when it's being used. Yeah. And second of all, I should, like as shared with you, I will always check with manufacturers, like all these gaps, how do they actually seal it up? And the most important thing is really not just on the windscreen, which is most obvious to a lot of people, but it's really here. This hole. I mean, yeah, quite a lot of people like holes, right? Yeah. So, question is, how do you seal up a hole? How do you cover a hole? How do you plug a hole? Yeah. So this is something that you always need to ask suppliers. And if they can't even give you an answer, let's say you're buying online from a trader and whatever, a retailer, they should have all this basic knowledge. If not, well, don't be surprised if you're frustrated later on, because this is just how many of us have been through. So that's one thing that I usually look at. Second, I would always check with the lighting product inside the product itself. Okay, is it encapsulated as well? Well, the yellow little thing is like the LED, and then on top this transparent thing is really like the lens, followed by a rubber gasket, if you can see. Okay, this white little strip that goes around, this is the rubber gasket. And then of course I have my glass cap. Right? Now the important thing to note is that you will never be able to have 100% waterproof lighting product, because for a simple reason, it is not vacuumed, sadly. Well, I discovered this really pretty much like just recently. So meaning of not vacuum means there's air inside, and then when there's a temperature difference, if you turn on your light and compare to the environment that's outside, be it rainy season, snowy season, or whatever, you have condensation taking place due to the difference in temperature on the glass panel itself. So eventually water droplets going to accumulate inside. So if your product inside is not encapsulated with PU, in this case we're using PU inside, then there will be this big risk where moisture actually attacks directly or comes into direct contact with the LED chipboard itself, and that's where the whole thing gets short-circuited, and then your house probably just turns dark, or okay, probably that particular section in your garden turns black or turn dark, right? So these are a couple of things that I usually look out for. And finally, of course, like all lighting products, I mean, you know, anti-glare, having a diffuser in front of the lighting source itself is very critical. Okay, this is something that we do for a big building in Singapore, a very prominent award-winning one. Okay, so it's not about the surface here. Today we're talking about inside. So look at the lens over here. We've specially tell the manufacturers for our projects that, you know, I need this kind of anti-glare lens. So you don't really see the LEDs. And then if you look at it clear enough, you can actually see that the lens itself is very diffused. Or rather, it has a lot of these honeycomb little things. Yeah, this is the diffuser. So when you look at it directly, of course, at a certain distance, definitely, you don't get blind shot right away, like a headshot. So this is the three main things I look at for a good outdoor lighting product. Of course, there are a lot of other questions that, you know, probably a lot of people might have, like, hey Stan, do you really just look at these three things? Don't you have any other aspect to look at? Of course, but like I say, these are the three main things that people are frustrated in. And that kind of pain is something I feel deeply as well, right? You don't think that a lighting consultant don't get cheated and they don't get smoked through. Many of the times they do. So this is how we actually train ourselves to look beyond just what is being presented on paper. And this is how then we create value, not just for our projects, for our clients, but also for ourselves, because then I do not need to go back and troubleshoot. So, but anyway, besides that, well, I'm happy to share any information or any questions that you may have on outdoor lighting products. Just feel free to send it to my email right below. If not, you can also send it to our sales hotline. Okay. Other than that, do follow our Facebook, YouTube, IG maybe, so that you are updated. Sometimes, you know, it's not about just selling. Here we just love to share some of the knowledge that we've gained over the last couple of 12 years maybe of our work. So, well, hope you gain something out of which, and good luck with your own lighting projects. Cheers, bye.